Okay, so now let's continue where we have left last time. So far we have got all the clarity, how do we have to approach anthropology, it's a unique discipline, this and that. Now we are moving towards our next topic of our syllabus event. Relationship of anthropology with other disciplines. Now let's see what this basic book class 11 is explaining to us. Just a moment. Now I'm highlighting all this part which are going to be important for all of us. Okay. So anthropology should be included within natural sciences or social science. It's a debate. We have, I think, discussed this, right? And anthropology and biological sciences also we have discussed last time. So human paleoanthropology, human genetics, this we have discussed basically. So the relationship of anthropology with biology is vast, and we are definitely dependent on various subdisciplines of it. For example, if I have to just explain what is the relationship of anthropology with biological anthropology or with biology. So we will see that how anthropology is related with biology. Okay. So the first part is I am reflecting on biological evolution. So subtopics will be origin of mankind. In biology, the subtopic would be biological evolution. So I would be talking about pre-Darwinian theory. One of the famous theories is Lamarckism. Okay, then definitely Darwinian, Charles Darwin, and then the post-Darwinian theory. So basically here, what do I have to understand? That how humans have evolved. So one of the sections in biological anthropology dealing with the question of humans evolution. Now, today we know in 21st century that modern synthetic theory is actually correct explanation of human evolution, where we know that how recombination happened. Recombination is combination of gametes, male sex cells and female sex cells. Like the first cell is zygote. So zygote is a resultant of sperm and fusion of eggs, ova. So now we know recombination. So both partners, both gender is responsible for having life form. If we are talking about human reproduction specifically. So male and female's gametes. Then we know what happened, mutation. So random changes. We do not know. We do not know which traits we are going to further take it to make a baby. We do not know. So in this zygote process, meiosis, what is mitosis and meiosis? Self-division cells, right? Meiosis is related with reproduction part. इसको थोड़ा और easy समझना है, right? And mitosis, right? तो हम इसको ऐसे समझते हैं. So, okay, so this is one part. So up now today you know this, wrong? Today in 21st century we know this, how humans have evolved. So it's like we know that okay, it's a zygote, then meiosis is happening, then let's just say for particular XYZ chromosome, which gender is going to happen. So mitosis and meiosis both are working, and then we know how it is happening. अगर हम और deeper में जा रहे हैं, so mutation is happening, then gene flow is happening, gene isolation, then gene flow, and then we are finally having different phases of reproduction. So we finally know that okay, now this is how we are going to evolve. So it takes 9 months and this and that. Okay. So this is modern synthetic theory, which is now explaining us with evidences about variations. Okay, that how we look like our parents and how we differ. But it was not there initially. So during Renaissance phase, when people were discovering what should be the truth, what is science, the definition of science is a body of knowledge that is telling us truth, isn't it? Yeah, you can write down this point, that what is science? Basically, science is our scientific procedures that help us to find out the facts. Now here we are dealing with biological evolutionary facts. Okay, so we are going to talk about this. So what I was saying, that during pre-Darwinian phase there were lot many theories which were trying to explain the origin of life. Okay, so Lamarckism is one of the theory which we are going to discuss in detail. And then we have Darwin theory, origin of species. He is talking about adaptive radiation, so on. So within biological anthropology, one of the parts is dealing with evolution. Now after this is your 1.4. Okay, and then we are also talking about certain biological principles. So they are the principles, they are not the facts. Like Gauss principle we have, Dollo's rule we have. Okay, so Gauss principle is talking about competition. Then we have Dollo's rule, Allen rule. So these we are going to talk about. Then we are talking about convergence. Okay, adaptive radiations, divergence. So this is a part. Then another part involved in biological anthropology, that is primates. Closest ancestors to humans. So we are dealing with primates here. We are going to understand similarities and the differences of men with apes and other primates, living or dead. So we are going to talk in a very in-depth manner. First of all, we are going to know, and I'm going to refer Davis Simler's work in our advance. Okay, so we are going to talk about that what are the characteristics that defines how primates got differ. Okay, then we'll talk about living and non-living primates now extinct. Okay, so primates. So this also falls under the category of biological part. Okay, biological anthropology. Then we are going to know our lineages. So we need to know the links of human beings. How? So now we know that all of us are resultant of one simple phenomena, that is simplicity to complexity. So we all belong to one category, Homo sapiens sapiens. So biologically we know that our story started some 4.6 billion years ago. अर्थ बना, उसके बाद किस तरीके से लाइफ फॉर्म्स आया, एजोइक के बाद आर्काइजाइक पीरियड में. So we all know that story. But then we do have to understand the linkages. I'm not going to talk about that how humans were related with reptiles because it is very long, very old. I want to see the immediate divergence which happened. So I would be looking apes then. So that is your 1.6. So I would be dealing 1.6. So that is under your biological anthropology. So fossil evidences. It falls under two categories, archaeology and also, tell me, biology, because we are going to deal with skeletons and all. So we are going to know that how brain got developed, what were the differences, comparative anatomy karenge with australopithecines of habilis and then the erectus and this and that. We are going to understand the transition. Okay, so it also come under biological anthropology. And then we are getting 1.7, that is, we are going to first of all understand the structure of cell. Okay, then we are going to deal with human genetics till 9.6. So if I have to tell that what is the relationship of anthropology with biology, so I would say we do have vast and important relationship with biology, because in order to understand our origin we need to look the biological aspects. In order to understand the divergence, how we have become a separate species, we do have to depend on archaeological facts. So it's a combination of bio, archaeological explanation, and then you would see that we are borrowing from different fields. But unlike biology, which are definitely reflecting on all living forms, life sciences में तो बहुत सारे forms है. We are only related with humans. Anything which is related to human, that we are going to read. So we are only going to read about the blood types, genetic markers among humans. So we do have a crucial relation. In order to understand how we have created society, first of all, we need to have an understanding how what we are biologically. Okay, so relationship of anthropology with life sciences or biology is important, and these all are the subtopics. So if I have to tell the subtopics, I would say one is dealing with biological evolution, another broader point is dealing with primates, other point is dealing with fossil evidences, and other is dealing with cell and human genetics, right? So you can say इसमें तो हमें क्वेश्चन ही नहीं आ रहे हैं अब, माइटोसिस, मियोसिस, डीएनए रेप्लिकेशन, प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस, अब क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहे, तो इसको बहुत ही क्विकली मैं कवर अप कराऊंगी. Okay, human genetics, that when I would be teaching online. Saturday, Sunday में 1 hour की class start हो जाएगी. Once I'll finish your basics, once I'll finish your 1.1, 1.2, so social culture part and biology simultaneously will start. Okay, because इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा difficulty है ही नहीं समझने में. Okay, so वो हम यहाँ से cover up करते चलेंगे. So this is a major part. So you people can quickly write. I'm giving you 2 minutes. तो आप इसको जल्दी से बना लीजिए, and then we'll further go. Done? Okay. So anthropology में ये वाला जो section है, you just have to read once. You do not have to make any notes out of it. Just simple note making. So you can see that I am not. So it means that it is for UPSC का exam. It is only for the creating basic understanding. वो वैसे भी create हो जाएगी. तो यहाँ पे हमको ज़्यादा focus नहीं करना. Okay? और आपको clarity तो आएगी होगी. What are genetics? What are primates? हमने बहुत सारा पढ़ लिया है. So that I am not going to talk about that. Anthropology and social sciences, definitely we need to have a broader understanding. Okay? So लिखो थोड़ा सा anthropology and social sciences. Now, when we are talking about anthropology and history, so definitely we are looking into the past, culture and society. So we always see in an evolutionary manner. Okay, so for instance, if I have to understand marriage system, so I would be understanding what was marriage during Neolithic period, what was marriage during early civilization, what is marriage in tribal societies, how it is different from rural and urban and different communities. So in a holistic manner, we are going to deal with. And in that process, history plays a significant role. You cannot understand your present, you cannot predict your future if you do not understand your past. So definitely anthropology has huge relationship with history. Now let's talk business. Let's talk about UPSC question. UPSC may ask you what is the relationship of anthropology with history. So first of all, you need to define what is anthropology, and then you need to define what is history. So history is a chronological scientific study of facts. Okay, so we are reading in the past and we are not looking at all other dimensions the way anthropology is looking. For example, when we are dealing with history, we are not very much concerned with biological aspects or the archaeological aspect, though you can only tell about history if you know the archaeological facts clearly. So this is what you people have to just tell, that anthropology and history, how they both are interdependent on each other, interrelated. So you should have to tell similarities, and then also you have to tell differences. And when you people are telling differences, we need to reflect on methodology. So how historians are using different methodology to construct the past, and how anthropology are using different methodology to do same. So that is something we need to know. Okay. So with respect to anthropology and history, and see, let's just see what what this book is talking about. So history studies about the social life of the past. It resorts to written documents to analyze the past culture and society. It examines how lived and how their life differ. Sorry, in different societies. Anthropology also deals with the social life of humans. It examines how they live, their life change over time, and how they give birth to different social institutions like family, political system, and so on. However, as independent discipline, history and anthropology differ. See, ये point हमेशा हमारे को दिखाना होता है. Differ in many respects. Anthropology is a biosocial science, while history is a social science. Okay. So when history deals with the past, anthropology deals with human being of all times. Likewise, when history examines the cause and effects of events, anthropology analyzes the social cultural aspects of events. ये वाला आंसर आप बना सकते हो, लिख सकते हो. Okay, दोनों एक आंसर आप लोग लिख सकते हो, and you people can learn it as well. Okay, so it's important for us to learn. Then several times you will get a question between anthropology and sociology differences, and in personality test I have seen lot many bureaucrats asking questions. So I always collect the information to those students who have faced interview. They have recounted this information to me that yes ma'am, this question was being asked. So at least 7 to 8 aspirants I know जिनसे ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, if they have sociology or anthropology in their option. So sociology is the science of human society. It studies human behavior in social surrounding. Thus, it is clear that the subject matter of sociology and anthropology is common to great extent. इतने common है that they are considered as twin sisters. Sociology is the science of human society. It studies human behavior in social surroundings. Thus, it is clear that the subject matter of sociology and anthropology is common to a great extent. Sociology and anthropology are highly influenced by each other. For example, the views of Durkheim as sociologist had greatly influenced the doctrines of anthropologists like Malinowski and Radcliffe Brown. Okay, but doing participant observation is given to us by Malinowski only. Okay, so Radcliffe, when I would be explaining functionalism theory, so here this particular theory is talking about functionalism. Okay, don't get confused. So Durkheim कौन है? Emile Durkheim, who is considered as one of the founding fathers of sociology. So Emile Durkheim has given an important theory, that is functionalism. Okay, so functionalism argues that society is like a whole connected with different organs. So religion, family, polity, economy, these are all our social institutions connected as a whole, right? How Malinowski and 20th century thinkers who are talking on society and reflecting on its functionalism. So Redcliffe Brown and Malinowski are considered as structural functionalists. So this is a part of your theory, topic 6 in paper 1, anthropological theories. बहुत सिंपल है. When I would be teaching, आपको बहुत easily समझ में आ जाएगा. मैं अभी समझा देती हूँ. Functionalism क्या है? Just imagine this room, okay? What you can see, यहाँ पे एक room दिख रहा है. Now you know that I am there, so I have a role to play. You are there as a student, you have a role to play. This board, digital board has a role to play. We have this ceiling has a role to play. We have this 3 walls, 4 walls right now, which has role to play. We have the gate. What is the role of the gate? So people, it is giving us exit and entry, right? So these walls are protecting us from the environment. So every part are there, which is making it a whole. That is a room, classroom. Okay. So if in classroom there will be no teacher, so it is dysfunctional. The function of room is dysfunctional. If students are not there, it is dysfunctional. If I will not have this board, it is going to be problematic for me to teach. अगर मेरे पास ब्लैक बोर्ड नहीं है या कोई बोर्ड नहीं है, तो मुझे अगर आपको कुछ एक्सप्लेन करना है, तो आई वुड बी यूजिंग मोर हैंड जेस्टर्स. मैं कुछ डायग्राम्स लिख के नहीं समझा सकती. नाउ द क्वेश्चन हियर इज, अगर आप थोड़ा और डीपर जाओगे, तो क्वेश्चन इज दैट if a society has everyone equal and it has different institution, why do we have then inequalities? Okay, so then further we'll go deeper into it. Okay, I do not want to at this stage go so deep. All I want to do, functionalism is a theory given to us by Emile Durkheim. Emile Durkheim is a French sociologist who argued that we need to see society just like a social fact. Like, you know, it's a fact. Society is a fact. The way we are having natural facts, sky is a fact, gravity is a fact, force is a fact, atmospheric pressure is a fact. These all are facts. So we do know that in this society there are social facts. Marriage is a social fact, family is a social fact, religion is a social fact, how we are behaving, all these are components of social facts, and it is made up and all these facts make society. So what is society? Society is just like an organism, according to Emile Durkheim. Okay, so the way organisms has different parts and then together they function. Society also have different social institutions such as religion, marriage, family, kinship, and it is also giving different functions to play, and together we make a society. Now further we do have a structural functionalist like Redcliffe Brown and Malinowski, who is telling that how do we have to understand culture. So in this way you can see that how sociology and anthropology is so closely linked together. ओके, सो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्लैरिटी तो खैर आई जाएगी आपको, बिकॉज यू नो दैट आई टीच सोशियोलॉजी एंड एंथ्रोपोलॉजी. इनफैक्ट यही आपका प्लस पॉइंट भी है मेरे से पढ़ने में. आपको बहुत डीपर क्वेश्चन सोशियोलॉजी के वैसे ही पता लगेंगे पढ़ते पढ़ते. ओके, द वे आई हैव जस्ट एक्सप्लेन Emile Durkheim. फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हेन वी आई वुड बी टीचिंग रिलीजन, एलिमेंट्री फॉर्म्स ऑफ रिलीजियस लाइफ, जो हम सोशो में पढ़ते ही पढ़ते हैं, यहाँ पे भी आपको आई विल टीच इन अ डीपर मैनर. ओके, तो यहाँ से समझ में आ गया ये वाला पार्ट. सो होइबल has stated that sociology and social anthropology in the broader sense are one and the same. तो और ये हमेशा क्वेश्चन आता है, सोशियोलॉजी एंड सोशल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, ये सोशियोलॉजी में भी आता है क्वेश्चन. तो एक पहले ही आप एक रेडीमेड आंसर रेडी कर लो. ओके, रिलेशनशिप ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी विथ एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, और बहुत एक अच्छा कंटेंट डेवलप करिए. वो मैं क्लास में तो आपको पूरा मेथोडोलॉजी, एक फॉर्मूला मैं एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ, वो आपको मैं एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगी. उस फॉर्मूला से आप कोई भी एंथ्रोपोलॉजी के किसी भी डिसिप्लिन से आप उसको लिख लोगे. देखो, एल कोरेबो लिखो, एल कोरेबो, ये डिफरेंट लिख लेना, क्योंकि पूछा गया था एक बच्चे से क्वेश्चन, which particular anthropologists have called sociology and anthropology as twin sister. A.L. Korebo. In fact, in Britain, Social anthropology was regarded as a branch of sociology. Okay, ये आप लोग नोट में लिख लीजिए. However, in its traditional sense, there are several differences between sociology and anthropology in terms of the field of study. So field of study इनका different है, approaches different है, perspectives and orientation are also different between the two subjects. Anthropology studies culture directly with intensive field work over a long period, but sociology studies societies mostly through secondary source. Now it is not true. Now we do have to get into the field, and most of the time sociologists are using participant observation. But yes, the way anthropologists are looking into cultural aspects, sociologists are more critical in their studies. Okay, so they want to know the solutions. Okay, so this here I would say that anthropology studies largely qualitative and sociology studies on the other hand quantitative. No, sociology is nowadays getting into the similar kind of understanding with respect to society. So nowadays, both sociology and anthropology, if somebody is doing research in social cultural part, so you will actually get confused that whether they are anthropologists or sociologists, because it is as A.L. Karober is arguing that sociology and anthropology are twin sisters. It will be same. For example, I have conducted my study on, I did my research in caste among Pasmanda Muslims. So I am social cultural anthropologist, but at the same time, I am sociologist as well. Okay, because I am looking into the caste. What is caste? It's a social institution. Okay, so you are getting a question to understand Indian culture. I have to understand the caste. Pasmanda Muslims I had studied, but also I reflected on modern associated problems as well. So it's just not that I'm only looking into the that how caste is working. I'm also looking into its problem. So different approaches is there. So if I have to, there will be no wrong. Most of the aspirants used to ask that how come she has done PhD in both anthropology or sociology. So I have done in social cultural anthropology, okay, sociology. So it's same. जो anthropology है वो सिर्फ difference study करती है और जो हमारा सोसाइटी वाला पार्ट है वो उसका प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्यूशन पे भी ध्यान देती है. ऐसा नहीं, अब तो एक्शन एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, वही तो मैंने कहा ना अभी आपको कि अभी जो एक्शन एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है, आज में अगर कोई सोशल कल्चरल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी पे रिसर्च कर रहा है, कोई एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है, कहना मुश्किल होगा कि सोशियोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट है, क्योंकि वो एक्शन एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट हो गए हैं ना. So they also want to know the solutions. So actively participating just like sociologists. So initially it was anthropology, which was really famous. But there was then again a time after sociology, what had happened in the development in the development of its courses. What happened? Anthropology had got lot of myths. People started thinking that whosoever are anthropologists, primitive people, tribal people, but it is not so. So nowadays, anthropologists are also conducting research on urban society, rural society. So there was a time definitely in 19th century and the early 20th century that people started thinking. In fact, I would say once we have got sociology. So sociology emerged after industrialization and urbanization, and then sociology started reflecting on problems. So they got lot of importance from the state all over the world. So sociologists started being hired with government policies makers, and people started thinking that anthropologists are only looking into the tribal sections, so they are only interested in that. But no, sociology is still evolving, anthropology is still evolving. So nowadays, if you are social cultural anthropologist, you can have the same research question just like sociologist. Okay, so anthropologists, it's just like that they are going to look at various other dimensions. So they would be also looking at the biological genetic markers as well. Okay, so they are going to reflect on racial features as well. So let me clarify this with an example, okay, which you have said. So for example, Herbert Hope Risley. He was also a very important person in Indian history. So Herbert Hope Priestley did first classification of Indian races. You can say that Herbert Hope Priestley is doing classification. We explain Turkish feature, Iranian feature, Mongolite, Mongolite, right? So he's explaining that how on which locations we are finding this particular races, okay? And he has given his manifestation on races. Now he is explaining about Indian population only, but in a more by using more anthropometric data measurements. Later on, we have got Lalit Prasad Vidyarthi, who is again a very renowned anthropologist, but he's equally sociologist also, because he's also talking about that if you even have to understand any population, you need to understand their social cultural part, their religion also. So it's a value addition. You can say that all these thinkers are very much part of your sociology only. But Herbert O. Priestley, what he did classification, racial classification. Okay, so when I am going to study, so I can have different aspects, but agar anthropology ka point hai, so I would be bringing racial part, I would be also talking about their diseases, health and this. Okay, so in a holistic manner. So this is the difference. And if I am primatologist, then definitely I am biological anthropologist. So there is a difference in research between bio and social. So if I am, for example, coming from bio ka part, science ka part, I would be getting into forensic anthropology. So I would be not then getting confused with sociologists or social cultural anthropologists. Okay, now I can be a student of medicine, I can study genes, genetics, and then I can also study any population. For example, now I'm trying to understand genetics of particular tribals of India. Let's just say Beals or Arowans or Munda. And so what I have done, I went to that particular location, I've collected their samples, and now I'm doing my DNA analysis on their samples. So I am going to look like medicines researcher only. I once went, I collected data and I have come up. But while analyzing their diseases, let's just say, so I have found that beels are prone to waterborne diseases, and I can see that okay, genes में यहाँ इनका ऐसा है. I did the pedigree analysis also. मैंने उनकी family history भी देखा diseases का. So I have come with my point. Yes, then I would be also looking at one of the dimension of their social cultural behavior rituals. But मैं sound कैसा करूँगी? More like medical student or researcher. समझ में आया? Now if I can be the primatologist, for example, you have Jane Goodall. She recently died, and she has done tremendous work in US. So she is primatologist. She can be anthropologist, right? But her focus is on primates. So she is understanding primate behavior. समझ में आ रहा है? So she would be more related with someone who is doing primatology. Similarly, if I would be looking at fossil evidences, so I would be a part of archaeological anthropology or biological. But nowadays you also have ethnoarchaeology, that is your syllabus also 1.3 in paper 2, where we are constructing social cultural part as well. Now is this clear? So sociology and social anthropology is same. Then we have anthropology and psychology. So social anthropology and psychology are concerned with human behavior. Social anthropology deals with society and culture in which individuals have part. We have psychological anthropology as a branch of social anthropology. It examines the relationship between human culture and behavior. Psychology focuses on individual behavior. It examines how people respond to specific motivations. Social psychologists study individual behavior under social environment. Do write on this. Okay, social anthropologists also study human society, social institutions and groups. Relationship between psychology and anthropology can also be seen in the main branches, social psychology and social cultural anthropology. So, however, psychology is concerned with individual behavior, whereas anthropology focuses on group behavior. It also interrelationship among the members of the society. When psychologists give importance to clinical experiments, social anthropologists deeply depend greatly deeply on field work. Okay, psychologists devote particular attention to feelings, emotions, and motivation of individuals. Social anthropologists study social relationship of individuals to analyze social organizations. So both subjects have many common features. Both social anthropology and political science examine social life of human beings. So political science contributes to anthropology regarding the organization activities of state. इसको आप थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ लेंगे. So anthropology is also very much interested in understanding the power dynamics between different societies and political science also. But we are not exactly studying the way political science is studying the state, government. For instance, anthropologists will be not interested which constitution is talking about what is parliamentary democracy, what is presidential form of government, what article 1 is talking in Indian constitution. I'm not interested in that. But I would be understanding and trying to understand how power is working in simple societies, how power is working in mainstream societies. I would be understanding a patriarchy, matriarchy. So anthropology is not going to see fundamental rights or direct principle of state policy or cooperative federalism as such. Yes, they do have superficial idea, but they are more interested in knowing that how in a indigenous society we are working and making coexistence, peaceful cohabitation without even having constitution. And then we are also questioning that the kind of democratic society which we are having globally, is this the only way to have solidarity with each other? Can we not have any other mechanism? For example, 2 years back, UPSC did ask question that how in simple society we are maintaining social control. So in mainstream society, we are maintaining social control. How? We are maintaining social control by punishment, by constitutions, by rules and regulation. We are enforcing courts. Do have repressive laws, restrictive laws. So if you are going to murder somebody, we are going to put you into jail, right? But in indigenous society, what is happening? There are oaths, ordeal, gossips. So if you have committed some crime, people are going to gossip about you, and it is not going to be the very easiest manner. It is true. The gravity is so deep of that mocking that people commit suicide only. So there is a particular incident in Inca tribe, if I am not wrong. So there during during this national movement only. So this particular place was under British control, under this colonial power. And what they had done, they had introduced their own power to that area, to that particular forest area. So that Inca women, they felt challenged. They felt that now their survival of activities is being taken away. So they started condemning the act of colonial power. They started making jokes. They started blocking their roads to the extent that that time colonial power had to take back their order. So we are going to talk that in detail in political anthropology. So that is what we are understanding, okay? Now anthropology and economics, again we are going to apply the same point, that how we are interested in knowing that how primitive society or stateless society is maintaining their survival. So colouring ceremony is going to we are going to refer as a case study, potlatch as a case study. So we are having exchanges. So in mainstream society, what is the medium of exchange? Is money. But in primitive society, we do have a reciprocity. We do have a general reciprocity, negative reciprocity. Okay. So how redistribution. So these all are components which we are going to study in economic anthropology. Economics give importance to the economic life of modern complex societies, while anthropologists are interested in simple economies and its evolutionary link with modern economy. Okay? Yes, origin and development of anthropology. This you people can take it directly from this book. It can help you. So anthropology, even though a new subject, occupies an important position in the academic arena of the world. See, this kind of anthropology, why we are saying it's a new subject, the way we are taking in disciplines. Okay, but you can see that how Aristotle has defined it. So it is very like law subject. But yes, this become part of our curriculum later in later years. So today is taught in almost all the famous universities of the world. More anthropologists are employed in different levels of administrations. So let's just see. To the human existence, the secrets of human life, which forms the anthropological thought, has been as old as the humanity itself. Please write down this part, बहुत important line है. The inquiry to human existence and the curiosity to know the secrets of human life. आप लोग ये बाद में copy कर लीजिएगा, but it's an important. I will save it. Okay. So, however, the systematic efforts to unravel the secrets of humanity can be since the time of the Greek philosophers in the Western world and the Vedic literature of ancient India. In a sense, we all do anthropology because it is rooted in universal human trait curiosity. लिखो ये वाला point. कभी भी आपको इसमें से क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा. We all do anthropology. Explain. Or comment. Written? So we are curious about ourselves and about other people, the living as well as the dead, here and around the globe. Later on, people begin to inquire about other cultures with specific objectives like conversion, administration of isolated communities, etc. ये यहाँ से बिल्कुल आंसर आप लोग लिख लीजिएगा, okay? So let us examine how. Let us examine how the subject has evolved, okay? So ये समझते हैं हम. So origin and development of world anthropology और टीके पेनीमैन का बुक रेफरेंस पॉइंट लिखेंगे जल्दी से. So we have just been familiarized with the meaning and the different areas of anthropology. Its wide and varied scope is one of its unique peculiarities. लिखेंगे ये. Wide है, varied है, so that is unique peculiarities. But do you think the scope of anthropology was so wide in the initial stage of its development? Anthropology is comparatively a new subject, and the origin and growth of the subject has taken place through centuries. Any attempt to understand human life can be considered an introduction to anthropological understanding. इसके वजह से मैं कहती हूँ that anthropology is older discipline than sociology or any other discipline, because जो भी हम attempt कर रहे हैं to understand humans, it is actually a part of anthropology only. आपको पर्सनालिटी टेस्ट में ऐसे क्रिटिकल डीपर क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. Is anthropology a new discipline or not? How will you answer it? Okay, I'm asking you this question. Tell me. Is anthropology, just imagine yourself that you are facing an interview of UPSC only, and they're asking you questions. Since you have anthropology optional, what you know is that, what is your stand? Is anthropology a new discipline or it's an old? I just want your answer. You just imagine that you are sitting in front of your main result. इसके बाद आपका selection हो जाएगा या नहीं होगा? How will you say? So that's what you need to learn. That whensoever you are getting such question, imagine yourself then and there while reading. If UPSC panel is going to ask me such question, what will I say? Because here we have two contradictory statements. Anthropology is a new discipline. However, why it is the oldest discipline, that you have to say. So you would say that anthropology can be considered comparatively. Anthropology is comparatively a new subject, and the origin and growth of the subject has taken place through centuries. You can say anthropology is comparatively a new subject when we are understanding in the context of teaching in the universities and the colleges. However, any subject which is related to human is by default a part of anthropology only, because we are understanding everything about humans. That is how Aristotle has defined it, that anthropology is in the gossip of men. Immanuel Kant has written the book called Pragmatic Anthropology. So you need to quote. So you need to say, though it is a new discipline comparatively, if we are understanding in the context of when it is being started teaching in the universities, because any subject become a discipline only when we are started teaching in universities and colleges. Okay, and this all happened in late 19th and 20th century. However, when we are understanding anything related to humans, it is a part of anthropology. Okay, that is why this book is seen 100 years of anthropology. पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो वो तो कब से पढ़ रहे हैं, वो तो कब से हम रिसर्च कर रहे हैं. ओके, लेकिन डिसिप्लिन कब बना पढ़ाने के लिए यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेजेस में, कंपैरेटिवली एज कंपेयर टू दैट इट्स न्यू डिसिप्लिन. So different attempts have been made to recount the development of anthropology in the world. Among this, the T.K. Penniman's, ये लिखेंगे, is worth mentioning. He classifies the development of anthropology into 4 periods. He proposes this classification in his book 100 Years of Anthropology in 1935, formulatory period before 1835. So जो भी 1835 से पहले हुआ था, that is the formulatory period. This is the first and longest period in the history of anthropology. It extends from the time of the Greek historians, philosophers, naturalists. Penniman considered Herodotus, देखो time 484 to 425 as the first anthropologist. He is also considered the father of Greek ethnography. He traveled throughout the world and researched about racist custom entirely alien to him. Herodotus asked some questions like, is the father natural head of the family or the mother? So thus Herodotus collected a large number of facts about peoples in different cultural stages. He not only talked about the origin of culture but also describes spoken languages. Then you have a Protagoras, is another Greek philosopher who has contributed to the knowledge about human beings and culture. So men and the measure of all things. So he was the first proposed to the theory of relativism. He also introduced evolutionary scheme. Then you have a Socrates, Plato, Aristotle also proposed his view of the state and the humans. He had clearly understood the difference between function and structural similarities. This is the clear from the fact that he classified bats with mammals and not with birds, and whales with mammals and not with fishes. So Aristotle believes that the state determines the behavior of humans. Without law and justice, humans would be the worst of all animals. He also proposed human being is a social animal. ठीक है? Then in the medieval period, various travelers and explorers wrote details about the people they encountered. Among this, Marco Polo, Vasco da Gama, Francis Bacon, Thomas Hobbes. So he formulated different theories from the study of society. John Locke, Immanuel Kant. Okay. So there was a lot of curiosity to learn about the differences, races of humankind during 16th century. So demonstration of blood circulation by William Harvey, biological anthropologist. Then Leeuwik, discovery of microscope, opened a new world of study. Vesalius made an attempt to compare human being with ape. So likho Vesalius. Okay, Carl Linnaeus, classification. So William Harvey, Vesalius, Leeuwenhoek, Carl Linnaeus. So during 16th and 17th centuries, Christian missionaries traveled all around the world for the spread of Christian ideology and conversion of people into Christianity. So they studied the nature of native people. Okay, so during the period of colonization, British administration conducted many studies on native people to make their administrator easy. So Edgar Thurston likho, caste and the tribes of India. William Crook, tribes and the coasts of the northwestern provinces. Elvin, philosophy of Nevia, इसमें तो क्वेश्चन नहीं आता है आपका. Elvin debate. John Russell. ओके, तो ये सारे नाम हमको लिखने होंगे. देन हमारा दूसरा पीरियड आ गया फॉर्मुलेटिव पीरियड के बाद कन्वर्जन पीरियड. अब हम सारे एक पॉइंट पे आ रहे हैं. So during this period, divergent biological and social aspects of humanity by scholars in different countries like Karl Marx, Charles Lyell, William Smith. Marx accepted the dialectical process as the moving power of history. In the field of archaeology, Boucher, Descartes' discoveries of flint implements at Abbeville in 1830, it's a place. Dr. Regulet's discovery of Saint Acheul in 1854 are some of the new developments. Neanderthal discovery at desert form gave a new outlook about human evolution. James Pritchard classified and systematized the facts about races of humankind, the natural history of men and physical history of men. Okay, he proposed. Then we do have Charles Darwin, the origin of species. In this book, he proposed his theory of organic evolution, popularly known as Darwinism. So this is a convergent period. Now we have constructive period. It was during this period we have seen independent discipline for anthropology. So constructive period में during this period anthropology started as an independent discipline in many universities. A department of anthropology was started in Oxford University in 1884, Cambridge University, and we do have Taylor, Fraser, Henryman, Morgan. Okay, such anthropologists. So apart from England, Germany and USA, anthropological researches had flourished. In France, contribution of Himal Durkheim. Okay, so some important journals like American Journal of Folklore, Royal Asiatic Society, and till today we are in critical period. So Pennyman used the term critical to denote his period because of the crucial contribution. यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया, हमने कर दिया कि बायोलॉजिकल में भी सब टॉपिक्स आएंगे, सोशियोलॉजिकल में ये टॉपिक्स आएंगे. So we are considering and becoming more systematic. Okay. So the first year of social anthropology was started in 1908. The first anthropology department in India was started in the University of Calcutta in 1920. कब हुआ था इंडिया में? 1920 में क्या हुआ था? नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट एंड ऑल दैट. ठीक है. सोशल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी. So during this period, different schools of thought in anthropology were founded. Functional school of thought, structural school of thought, school of diffusion. Then you have lot many thinkers like A.L. Kroeber, Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead, Clark Whistler. Okay. So as in the world, anthropology flourished in India at a very slow pace as a subject that shares infinite curiosity towards human being. Anthropology flourished in India as well. Okay. तो यहाँ पे भी हम formative period पढ़ेंगे. The course of development of anthropology, thought and study in India was slow but steady. Basu Roy, लिख लो नाम, describe the following phases of development of Indian anthropology in opinion regarding the time span of this. So formative period, during this period, emphasizes of anthropological study on tribal life. ठीक है. So many encyclopedia of tribes and castes were published. So in addition to ethnographic reports, revenue reports of Dalton, Burchland, and Lord Baden-Powell also examined the social cultural situation of India during this period. The foundation of Asiatic Society of India by Sir William Jones in 1774 was an important landmark. This became the Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784. By this time, the society also started publishing its journal regularly. This is Sir William Jones. So in 1972, the Indian Antiquary was published. 1886, the Anthropological Society of Bombay published. It was the first journal, so some of the individual efforts were also initiated. Herbert Hope Risley report on tribes and caste of Bengal in 1891. Risley developed a separate wing in the census operation for ethnographic survey, the publication of journals. Okay, in India. So SC Roy के ऊपर UPSC ने क्वेश्चन भी पूछा है. Munda and their country. Then you have DN Majumdar, LP Vidyarthi, some of the Indian anthropologists. Then you have constructive phase, that is L. Krishna, Anand Krishna Iyer, R. Chanda, the pioneers of Indian anthropology. डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आएंगे इस नेम पे. आपका टॉपिक 4 है पेपर 2 का, कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इंडियन एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट. तो जितने भी इंडियन एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट के नाम एटलीस्ट आपके SCERT में मेंशन है, ये हमारे लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं. आप लोगों को उनका अभी से का एक 300 वर्ड्स का कंट्रीब्यूशन बना लीजिए. कंट्रीब्यूशन, जस्ट राइट ऑन द क्वेश्चन, द कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ DN मजुमदार, LP विद्यार्थी. ओके, इन सबके नाम लिखिए. LK आनंद कृष्णा अय्यर, R चंदा. ओके, SC रॉय का तो पूछा ही है क्वेश्चन कितनी बारी, अय्यर का भी पूछा हुआ है. LP विद्यार्थी, the part of your syllabus. So this was the first work where he will publish his book, the Bagh. Okay, Anthropology Service of India. So this is what you people can just write and study. Then you have analytical phase for DN Majumdar. This phase began in 1938 and carried on to the present. Then Surajit Sinha, write down all the name just. Okay, all name. LP Vidyarthi, BK Roy Burma, RM Makhaja, PK Mishra, KS Singh, CN Madan, People of India was written by Singh. Research methodology to conduct include TC Das using genealogy to study the Parum society. It's like a family tree. NK Bose. Okay, then Chattopadhyay Mukherjee, इरावती कर्वे का अभी रिसेंटली क्वेश्चन आया था. Then evaluative phase to the present, medical anthropology, religion development studies. Okay, so to conclude, in the world of LP Vidyarthi, the journey of Indian anthropology still continues. क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा आपको इसमें. Explain. It has gone much ahead under the influence of and in collaboration with British and American anthropology. Of course, in a broader perspective, they will continue to influence the Indian social science for some more time. Anthropology originated a little late, but today it has become more important discipline and this and that. Okay, so this is what we have done so far. So we have completed our chapter, the first chapter. Okay, now I would say that you people can also just write down this sum up. ओके, तो ये आप लोग कर सकते हैं. इस एक सम अप को आप लोग कर लीजिए. फाइन, तो आई कैन गिव यू अ लिटिल ब्रेक. उसके बाद आई विल कंटिन्यू. यू पीपल कैन हैव जस्ट टेक अ स्मॉल ब्रेक. आई विल कम. यू कैन टेक अभी, क्योंकि 1:50 में क्लास खत्म हो जाएगी, तो 7-8 मिनट्स का ब्रेक ले लीजिए. ओके, आई विल जस्ट टेल यू कि कैसे कंटिन्यू इस चैप्टर के नोट्स कैसे कंप्लीट करके खत्म कैसे करना है. ओके, ऑल एंड एस्पिरेंट्स, कोई डाउट? अभी थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंडिंग हुआ एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में? क्लास 11 का बुक पढ़ते हैं वो थोड़ा सा फोकस हो गया कि एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, तो आपका एक बेस स्टार्ट हो जाएगा बनना। ठीक है, फिर जब हम एडवांस पढ़ेंगे, बहुत सारे थिंकर्स हैं, उनकी डिबेट्स हैं, यूपीएससी इतना इजी क्वेश्चन तो नहीं पूछेगा आपसे, डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन पूछने वाला है, तो उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग हमको करनी है। ऐसे ही समझो कि हम जैसे पहले ए बी सी पढ़ते हैं, फिर हम वर्ड फॉर्मेशन पढ़ते हैं, फिर हम कॉम्प्लेक्स सेंटेंसेस करना सीखते हैं, वैसे ही हमको इसको भी समझना है। ठीक है, सो आई वुड से कि यहाँ पे जो ये समरी है, इसको शॉर्ट वे में खुद से भी पढ़ लेना। ठीक है, और यहाँ से आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग पूरी डेवलप हो जाएगी एंथ्रोपोलॉजी को लेके। और फिर आप लोगों ने क्या करना है, अब सिंपल जो आप लोगों को पीपीटी दी गई है कर लोगे। So what I saving this work as chapter 1, ठीक है, so that you people understand कि chapter 1 तक का अंडरलाइन किया हुआ है इसमें एंथ्रोपोलॉजी चैप्टर, ये भी आप लोगों के साथ शेयर हो जाएगा। और उसके अलावा आई एम शेयरिंग पीपीटी एंथ्रोपोलॉजी बेसिक। So along with this, my PPT is there. You would see that I have discussed everything. Development of anthropology, Plato, Aristotle. तो मेनली कंटेंट बुक से ही लिया हुआ है। तो अब आप लोग कहाँ तक इसको कंप्लीट कर लोगे रीडिंग? टिल स्लाइड नंबर, ये पूरा 118 पेजेस तक आप इसको कंप्लीट कर लोगे। ओके, तो एनालिटिकल फेज 1950 में इंडिया में क्या हो रहा था, एलपी विद्यार्थी उनका वर्क, इवैल्यूएटिव फेज में जो भी हमने सारे थिंकर्स मैंने आपको लिखवाए भी हैं एंड ऑल। ओके, तो ये दोनों अब आपके पोर्टल में मैं सेंड कर देती हूँ एंड यू पीपल कैन जस्ट start studying it. Tomorrow I would be reflecting on the second chapter, okay, and then you would be through with it. But yes, first chapter, as I have earlier also I have mentioned this, तो थोड़ा सा अच्छे से पढ़िएगा, नोट मेकिंग करेंगे। तो पहले टाइम में नोट मेकिंग करने में हमेशा डिफिकल्टीज आती है और टाइम लगता है, बट ग्रेजुअली आप लोग इम्प्रूव कर जाओगे। योर की ना, ओके देन जस्ट अ मोमेंट। कार्तिक